Welcome back, people. It is episode 1 of season 4 of the Taxi Squad podcast. We have a fair amount of strange and unusual topics to get into. The college football playoff is about to have an epic end of season. And not only that, we got some great football picks to discuss with you. And for the first time ever, our theme song.
Come on, everybody, celebrate. The Taxi Squad is here today. So lose the blues, kick back and relax for now. They talk about sports and stupid stuff. They're probably wrong and it might get rough. So welcome back, it's the Taxi Squad, yeah.
Vinny, how the hell are you?
I'm good, dude. Just had to get out a burp. Now that that's out, I'm good to go.
Good.
I'm happy that our theme song has finally come to fruition, sir. We finally have one.
After 3 whole flipping years, we finally have a theme song, and we can say shit like Prime, like, give me my theme music. And I'm pretty jacked about it. I think we really got the whole 90s sitcom vibe, which was the goal.
Yeah, so if you're on listening, you're obviously only going to hear it. But if you were watching it on YouTube, there is a video. We hung out on this beautiful winter break that we've had.
Yes.
Happy New Year, by the way. Happy 2024. I hope you're going to have everything you want and need in the new year. I hope that for us and you guys as well. But
Yes.
if you do want to see the editing magic of one Vince Glove, then go ahead and check it out on YouTube. And let me know some of your critiques, please.
We need to hear all the comments. We need to see all your opinions about the intro video. I think it's outstanding.
I think it's funny.
Like, once again, and to Vince's point, Happy New Year, people. Can't believe we get a 4th season of doing this for y'all, and without you, none of it would be possible. So thank you, as always. And we kind of buried it a little bit here, Vinny, but, I mean, we got some strange and unusual topics to really talk about.
We got 4.
We got 4. See, this is always the fun times, man.
This is like
Fun
the first. Yeah, this is like the first time we've ever had 4, I think. Some are positive, some are negative, but without further ado, I think we should just hop into one of them.
Let's do it.
Strange and unusual alumnus, Wander Franco, back again. For anything good, Mike?
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking not. Wander
No.
Franco, he had his house in the Dominican Republic raided by officials. Wander Franco is currently in jail. There are reports coming out right now that he paid the 14-year-old minor's mother, the minor of which he was engaging in sexual acts with, amounts of like 10 to 15 to 50 to 100,000 pesos each throughout this lifespan. So he would send the money to his mother. His mother would send it to this lady. It was a little bit sketchy, a little bit odd. He's detained right now, and it looks like on Monday, the court case will officially begin for this man. So is he ever going to play baseball again? I do not know.
In the Dominican. So he was like hiding out in the Dominican, suspended from the team. And what? He got suspended like, what was that, July?
Yeah, I want to say it was like probably
shortly
September.
before or after the All-Star breaks, from my memory.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's played baseball. The Rays did not have a shortstop for quite a bit of time last year because of this, and now it's all kind of coming to a head. So we will see what happens. It will be tomorrow for those listening right now. And we'll figure that out when that ship comes.
So
but it is pretty insane.
So allegedly,
Yes.
like her mother was like prostituting her own daughter to an MLB player.
It feels like that, but it also feels like, hey, you're not supposed to do that, so give me money now. So I don't know if the money was being given to her after the relationship ceased to exist or if it was during. I don't know if she has different values on when people are supposed to be dating, but the law is the law in both America and the Dominican Republic, which is not.
Do we
allowing...
know like the legal age of consent in Dominican?
It's 18.
I feel like it's
18,
It's 18.
just like here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So very much so not legal there, which is why they're going through all of this currently.
reminds me of that Shane Gillis bit like when
Which one?
the age of consent was created.
Oh, yeah.
From Rhode Island, 12. Oh,
Oh, God. Ah.
Oh,
Yeah. That's literally what it is. It's like, Jesus Christ. And, like, obviously there's a lot of that going around sports right now. I mean, we saw the Josh Giddey stuff, and he's from Australia, and that's been taken care of in a much different way because he was unknowledgeable about her age. Seems like Wander
still
Franco
don't believe it.
knew perfectly well that he wasn't knowledgeable about it.
1,000% he was knowledgeable. He had to fucking know. Come on.
I mean, he was at a club, man. I don't know. I'm not going to fight for the guy if he's doing some sketchy shit, but anything that's come out has been to that tune. Where this one, it seemed pretty obvious off the bat he knew what her age was. Also, the Giddey thing is like 17-year-olds. This one's a 14-year-old.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, Karl Malone get away with it, though.
Dude, Karl Malone got away with it because he wasn't in the spotlight when it was happening. And still, did Karl Malone get away with it? Because anytime someone brings up his name, they're like, no, bad. Put him away.
Yeah, but he didn't go to prison.
True. Yeah, he actually had a fruitful NBA career, but even so, that guy's a scumbag too, so.
He is a smidge of a scumbag. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Wholeheartedly, not even a smidge, just full-fledged scumbag. But yeah, this is, once Friday comes around, we'll see what ends up happening. I don't think he's going to play baseball at least for a year, if not ever again. So it looks like Tampa Bay will probably be looking for a new shortstop. So this young phenom, because I don't know if you remember this, when he was coming up, it was like best thing since sliced bread. Looks like that ship has seemed to be sailed at this point.
Well, if you're really good at sports, don't take advantage of minors. I think that's the moral of the story here.
If you're not good at sports, also don't take advantage of minors. Because what the fuck, man?
Yeah, I'd say that's true also. But more so, just
altogether. Yeah, just don't do
world
it.
The way it is. Why is this world the way it is? Don't truly understand it. But, well, I mean, hey, Wander Franco, probably never an MLB player again. Do we think Tim Anderson gets targeted by the Tampa Bay Rays?
So I had that thought yesterday. I think that's possible. Only problem is the Rays don't pay people. And Tim Anderson's looking to get paid well above his market value. So we'll see how that ends up shaking out. But I don't think he's going to get paid a lot. So maybe he goes to the Rays, but.
Well, I mean, Tim Anderson had his own atrocities in Chicago. 2 baby mamas that knew about each other. 2 estranged.
Not illegal, though. At least
not
in the
illegal.
eyes of the law. At least in the eyes of the
point.
law. Yes.
To the point. To the point. Well, Vince, we are still on some strange and unusual topics.
Yeah.
You brought this one to me today.
Yes.
Jason Whitlock, formerly with FS1, now with Blaze Media Group. Very outspoken, used to play in the NFL. Now he got like super political, I guess, was on Fox News for a little while. I've seen his face float around on different platforms, but Blaze seems to be the path he's moving on now.
Which, congratulations, whatever the fuck Blaze is. I don't know what Blaze is at all.
Why don't you kind of discuss what targeted ads were focusing on him on ESPN's website?
Yeah. Jason Whitlock was doing some studying, some investigation on what was going on with the NFL standings, as we all do, for which he ended up running into a targeted ad. So first things first, Jason, get an ad blocker. Do that first. It'll help you out in the future. Second thing is, know a little bit more about the internet because you're all over it, brother. So he posts a picture, says, I'm looking at the NFL standings on ESPN.com. This is an ad running above the standings. How is this possible? Appropriate ? The advertisement says, One Piece, funny happy birthday. Him, husband, boyfriend, birthday gifts, decorations. Balls deep inside of me is great way to spend your birthday, is what it says. And he says, this isn't appropriate. Why are you advertising this, ESPN? Well, here's the kicker, kids. It's called retargeting. It's a thing that Google does. This is my marketing brain coming in. It looks up all of your previous search history, your cookies on your browser, and then advertise stuff that will be of interest to you via those ads. So what I get and what you get, what other people get, are going to differ based on what you've looked up in the past. It just seems to be that Jason Whitlock likes balls deep inside of him as a great way to spend somebody's birthday. And he essentially posted that to the masses, calling out ESPN, to which everybody replied, "Good thing to know about you, Jason. Happy for you. This is a weird way to announce it, but good job."
Well, I mean, there is a statistic out there that does claim that, a certain percentage of former NFL players are, closeted, in quote. So
and listen,
did
if he
just
is, I'm
kinda-
proud of you. But the
No,
fact
yeah,
that
hey.
he
1,000%, no judgment here. But yeah, he needs to figure out how the internet works today. and,
Yeah.
do you think now
Run
there's
it
gonna be like
past
a
somebody.
big goofy statement where he like comes out
Oh,
in the
yeah.
media?
Yeah, so he
Yeah.
actually posted something today. So he went over it today. Didn't watch because, quite frankly, I don't care what his callback
I
is.
mean,
for
what
that.
did he say?
He
Paraphrasing
said-
it. Come on.
He said, well, he put it on blaze.com, and I don't think I'm trying to give Blaze any clicks right now, but essentially it was called the Porn Gate. He said, "The handlers and media don't like me. I'm a problem because I won't take their programming. I'm going to spend however much time I have left on Earth explaining to you how all the game is being run." So essentially he's saying that this was a hit campaign against him that he caused himself
But
because he's the one that
goes
posted
off.
it.
I mean, porn watching 101. You got to clear the history, man.
Well, for sure. And like that being like he
If-
probably was on Amazon looking up like balls deep. Like that's what he probably was looking up.
If you listen to this podcast, I mean, you have known at some point you didn't want to give your family's computer aids.
Yeah.
You needed to delete the cookies. You needed
History.
to delete the fucking history.
Right.
No matter what you can't.
So
You just didn't
his
grow up in that era.
Yeah, his whole way about it is people were coming at him and he isn't letting the noise get to him and he's going to keep being who he is. But the problem is that none of that makes any fucking sense. And there's like a bunch of like pictures and stuff, and I'm looking at it all on Twitter/X.com right now. And it just says, "Y'all been after me for a decade, and the worst you gotten me is a Temu ad. That's embarrassing." He's just essentially deflecting and trying to get it out of the way.
So he's
but
been looking it up on Temu.
I guess so. Or
Temu is
his
China,
T-
people. It's China.
Or his Temu ad is just odd. I don't know. There's something to him because I've never gotten an advertisement like that from Temu or not from Temu. So whatever the fuck he's doing, different than me, I suppose.
I mean, hey, Jason Whitlock. He's the first person I think about when I think of, any sort of,
It would be
controversy
funny.
in the sports media.
It would be funny that if it was like any frequent user of the blaze.com is going to get balls deep birthday gift advertisements, and that's what Temu's doing.
No,
And he's actually telling the truth.
You know what I want him to do? I want him to go on like a big press tour to like save his face,
Yeah.
and then like go on the herd and have like Colin Cowherd like teach him the ways of the internet. I think it would be fantastic.
I
think
it
it would be great.
That's
he'd be
prime time
like-
television.
So do you understand exactly how the internet works? And
And
they're talking to me.
he's doing a lot now, and he's deflecting. This is kind of an
So he
aside,
moves
strange and
around.
unusual, but I don't know if you heard anything about the Jimmy Kimmel and Aaron Rodgers debate right now.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Kimmel stated that he was going to take Aaron Rodgers to court
Right.
about his he allegedly stated that Jimmy Kimmel was on the Epstein plane
Yeah.
once or twice, and Jimmy Kimmel came out and said that that wasn't the case,
Yeah.
and that if you keep talking about me, I'm going to take you to court and all this happy good shit.
But the funny thing about that, and listen, like,
The
I don't
list
think-
got released. It gets released like either sometime.
It was supposed to
soon.
be Christmas, and then it was supposed to be the first of the year, and neither of those happened. So I think it's all just smoke and mirrors. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but to that
I think
notion,
a lot of people are afraid they're going to go away.
right? Yeah. So, but
That
even
happens.
to that notion, it's kind of like Jimmy Kimmel. Your whole job is to talk about people. He talked about Aaron Rodgers a lot. You're gonna sue him for defamation of character? Like, if you're not
he
on
says
it,
if
then
he keeps going with that narrative. Yeah, but to your point,
what
why
do
are
you-
you so
what-
defensive?
And also, like, where is he going to
He's
keep going with that narrative? He's on Pat McAfee one time a week. Like, I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers truther or anything like that, but, like,
No.
it's not going to be new. It's already not news. Like, by the time this podcast gets posted, no one's going to give a shit about it. So it's kind of just like, what are we doing here? But yeah, that was Jason Whitlock's take today because he's like, let's get the other news in here because can't have this
Because
Timo
we
ad
need to
just fucking
off my weird tendencies I like to Google.
Hey, but congrats to Jason.
Congrats to Jason Whitlock for learning
You
how
deserve to live
targeted
your
ads
truth.
work.
Live your truth, brother.
Stop looking at the goofy porn.
Live your truth, brother. You can be who you want to be, and don't let anybody take that from you.
Correct. All right. So, to more strange and unusual topics.
Yep.
Dan Orlovsky, ESPN analyst,
Mhm.
was in the news recently for eating a pancake off the studio floor, first and
Yep.
foremost. Which 9-second rule, 10-second rule,
I don't
5-second
know.
rule. I mean, he just like it hit the floor, he picked it up, he ate it.
Right.
I mean, we're big guys.
I've done it. I've done it. Whatever.
Come on. You're not going to judge him because he ate a pancake off the floor. 10-second rule is
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pancake does soak things up quickly, though. I don't know if pancake would be the one that I'd go for on the floor. I think you got to have like a tier list. But I'm not gonna.
What?
I'm
Okay.
not gonna get mad over that. I'm not gonna get mad over that.
Food?
Do what you need.
10-second food list, Vince. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let's discuss it.
Anything
drop-
with sauce is hard.
But what if it's a dry pancake?
So my thought is if the floor is wet and the pancake hits it, then it's fucked because it soaks things up
Sure.
so much.
Sure.
Dry floor, recently cleaned, yeah. If he knows that studio doesn't get mopped up, then no. You know, there's levels to it. So there's things that we don't know. But I think pancake's okay. I think it's okay.
Okay. I agree. I mean, a waffle might be more acceptable. Maybe a
True.
piece of toast. You never know. But to your point, maybe that waffle's recently buttered. Maybe that piece of toast recently buttered.
Yeah, because
never
then you're
know.
getting ground seasoning is what you're getting on there. If it's wet.
Yeah. You never know. Oh, God. During COVID days, we'd be ostracized for talking
Yep.
about this. Are you
I
kidding?
know. Jimmy
Are you
Kimmel will
kidding?
be roasting Aaron Rodgers.
Right. That's been happening for a long time. But
Yep.
another thing Dan Orlovsky decided to do was sniff Molly Karam's shoe.
Considerably weirder. Considerably
Does he
weirder.
have a shoe fetish? Maybe.
Okay,
Maybe he's
do
a
you
feet guy.
Do you remember like that blog that he made that was like how to stay faithful to your wife? And he's like, don't be in the same room as a woman or like by yourself
No.
one-on-one. He made a whole blog about like you like don't masturbate, like don't think about other women, like crazy shit. And now he's on live TV getting his little snifflers inside of a lady's shoe. I'm like, Dan,
I mean, it's not just any lady, Vince. I mean, come on.
it's Molly
It-
Karam.
It's
Beautiful.
Molly Karam.
Very beautiful person. Recently married to Jalen Rose, NBA star, whatever.
Didn't they get divorced?
They did. Yeah. Sorry about that, Jalen.
Why you don't
But
shit where you eat, people?
even so, the clip, which I'm watching on repeat right now, is so odd. And he's like, ha ha ha, look at me smell the shoe. And everybody's like, yo, what the like Darren Orlovsky's a bit of a weird guy. I think that's for sure.
Well, he ran out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah. And
Notably, ran out of the back of the end zone.
he's been trying every single time it happens now to avoid to move it on to somebody else and then that's not him, which is also funny. But I don't know, man. This is just weird. Why the fuck did he smell it?
I think it's personally fucking hilarious. But with all of that,
How did he get his hands on it?
ESPN posted it, which just makes
Yeah.
it even weirder. So what are they, to Whitlock's point, what are they promoting? What are they promoting, Vince?
I mean, feet
Feet
guys
smelling?
and balls deep inside other guys. I don't know. Seems like Disney's going wild recently. Disney gone wild? Who knows?
Hey, Disney, potentially there's like secret rooms at Disney World that like weird shit, like Illuminati meetings happen. Tinfoil Hat Conspiracy
I was gonna
Podcast.
say,
It's
you
true.
can say that
Google
about anything too, though.
Google it.
Dude,
It's
inside every single cheesecake factory is a small room where the Illuminati meets up.
That's why there's so many of them. Mattress Firm. I'm going to talk about Mattress Firm for 5 fucking minutes.
There's like 4 of them in our hometown.
Dude, why? Why? Who's buying this many mattresses?
The last time I bought mine was like 5 years ago.
It's got to be a cartel, like washing money, Ponzi, something.
Yeah, I'm certain
something.
Of that. That's the biggest conspiracy theory where I'm like, I know for a fact that that's at least a money laundering scheme, if not more.
Mattress firms? There's still Long John Silver's around. Who the fuck eats at a Long John Silver's for the record? When have you ever been like, oh man, I can't wait to go eat fucking cod from Long John Silver's?
So I had Long John Silver's one time as a test. I was like, is this going to be it? The fucking fish was so bad.
Was it during Lent?
No, dude. Or maybe. I don't know. This was a long time ago. I was like probably 17. So this was like 11, 12 years ago. All right. But I did have the Hush Puppies. Those things hit.
A Hush Puppy, I mean, listen, you're not going to disrupt fried dough, right? Any sort of fried dough is delicious.
Yes, I'm with you.
Whether that be a funnel cake, even baked dough, bread. Who doesn't love carb? I mean, come on, look at us. We probably enjoy carbohydrates on this podcast.
You think?
But with all of that being said, if you haven't yet seen our faces on YouTube, but truly, there are some plants here. Maybe Disney, Cheesecake Factory, fucking Mattress Firms, Long John Silver's. I think they all kind of fall in the same thing. That and maybe, I guess the next one, Anytime Fitnesses, because nobody works there.
Right.
It's literally a key fob and you walk in.
Is that sanitary?
I don't know.
We can get into the Denver airport, too. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Oh, the Denver airport secretly has lizards in it. They talk about how, like, lizards, and then there's, like, floors that and elevators you're not allowed to. They claim that there's, like, 8 stories underground there. There's a demon horse.
There is a demon horse. You see it when you drive in. It's pretty rad.
I haven't been to the Denver airport. It's the one place I haven't been to. But I will say, a little weird. Now, what also is weird, Vince, is the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Yes.
So, if we're on the weird topics, cannibalism of Pop-Tarts is a thing in the U.S., people.
And I guess it's okay.
Granted, they are delicious.
Yes.
But an entire K-State football team decided to eat a Pop-Tart mascot in front of the masses at the Pop-Tart Bowl.
I have to give credit to friend of the show and often referenced Mr. Richie for giving me this information about the Pop-Tart.
Shout out, Richard.
I hung out with him on New Year's, and he was like, you saw about the Pop-Tart. And I was like, no. He's like, no fucking way. And he's like, I got to tell you about it. So we went into detail. I did my research. Wild situation here. So some of these things are true. Some of these things are reported by people that could probably be untrue. But I'll give you the synopsis. So the Pop-Tart Bowl happened, and it was K-State and NC State. And there was a mascot of a Pop-Tart. Cute little Pop-Tart running around saying, like, dreams come true, all this stuff, like, all this adorable shit.
Pop-Tart Bowl.
Yes, exactly. So this mascot's running around, and he's, like, high-fiving everybody, getting jacked up, doing all these dances. He, like, smacked the ref on the ass and stuff. It was, like, hilarious. And he's, like, making friends with people in the stands, and he's, like, you know, just an affable character. One report, this was one that I don't know if it's true or not, but I guess this guy was eating a Pop-Tart, and he's like, am I supposed to be eating a Pop-Tart with you looking at me? Like, it kind of feels weird. And the guy's like, no, go ahead. And I guess he, like, fed it to him and was, like, making noises and shit while he was doing it. Like, just, like, weird, wild shit.
Was this a coach or a player?
This was, like, a guy in the stands. It's just a random person. So that's why I'm like, it could be fake. They could have just been adding to the lore. Whatever. They... At the end of the game, there was a massive toaster, and the Pop-Tart had a sign that says, dreams really come true, or really do come true. And it's him going into a toaster, and then essentially and then coming out the other side as a baked Pop-Tart. To which they put onto a table, and Kansas State, who won the game, goes in and starts eating the Pop-Tart. Mind you, it's a strawberry Pop-Tart, so there's red
The
filling, so it's like bloody Pop-Tart just getting destroyed by this team. They're just taking handfuls of this dude. So everybody's like, hey, what the fuck, man? Like, you just killed my Pop-Tart friend. What are we doing? Like, that's so fucked up. And then to
But was
which
he like gone after that? Like,
well,
was
yeah, he was
Pop-Tart Man gone?
inside. He was inside the toaster, so the other Pop-Tart can come out. But the idea was they just toasted him so the team
Okay.
can eat him. That was the idea.
Poor marketing planning. It's like
No,
can you
but
imagine
not
the-
at Mike. Not at all. Because what are we doing
We're
right
talking
now?
about it.
Exactly, on an internet show. And then at the end too, people were like, "Hey, what the fuck?" And then Pop-Tarts were like, "The best part of a Pop-Tart's journey is when it gets the opportunity to be eaten at the end of it." So like
Fuck
Pop-Tarts,
yeah.
Pop-Tarts live to be eaten. So like that's what they're saying. It's like circle of life.
I just hey, we support the cannibalism of Pop-Tarts on this show.
And
Maybe-
that's
who
about
knows?
the only cannibalism we support.
who knows? I will gladly be the Hannibal Lecter of fucking Pop-Tarts, people.
Fine with me.
No problem at all. And who
It
knows?
was-
Maybe the Pop-Tarts people hear this. Maybe we're onto something here. Speaking of Pop-Tarts, Vince, what's your favorite Pop-Tart?
I am pretty good with the classics, so I will go probably the brown sugar cinnamon. Pretty good when
Okay.
you put it in the toaster. If I'm feeling like a goofy little boy, if I'm feeling like big boy coming in hot,
Silly Goose.
if I feel like a silly goose, I'll pop in one of those like hot fudge ones or like the s'mores ones. I'm not a
Okay.
big fruit Pop-Tart fan though.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Family Guy talks about it many times. There's even a song about it.
Okay.
Have you ever put butter on a traditional strawberry Pop-Tart?
No.
It is so fucking good.
Really?
Like, it is beyond, like, believable how good that is.
No kidding. Okay.
And the song, as I quote, "Have you ever put butter on a Pop-Tart?" It's so freaking
There's
good.
a Family Guy episode of that?
If you've never put butter on a Pop-Tart, if you haven't, then I think you should. And literally, just treat material.
Okay. Did
Yeah.
you know there's a strobe light going on behind you?
There is?
Every time you like back up, it strobes. Wait, try it again. Yeah. Yeah. You see that? All right. This is an epilepsy warning in case anybody's watching the pod right
Let's go.
Heads
Fucking
up.
Taxi Squad podcast turning into the fucking club. Let's go.
Either
kids.
way. But I think the most fucked up thing about this whole Pop-Tart thing is that his face, like going into it, was like, like a half sun. So it was like him smiling, like, and then he comes out still smiling, and they're just ripping his body apart. And he's like, it's so fucked up.
So
They didn't
odd.
They didn't
and
need to put the
creepy.
face in there, dude. They didn't need to put the face in there, but this is one of my favorite like bowl game celebration things ever. I think we can continue the conversation we were having the other day too about the mayonnaise versus the eggnog.
Oh yeah, the food. Like there's all the food bowls, right?
Yeah.
There was the mayo bowl, and then there's the eggnog bowl, and we talked about, would you rather get doused in a bunch of mayo or
Yeah.
a bunch of eggnog?
Consensus is mayo, I'd say. The thing is the mayo that they pour on them is pretty viscous. It's pretty wet.
It's thick, man. That gets under you. You could break
Yeah.
out for how much oils are in that, right?
Right.
And it's delicious on a sandwich. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I want to get jump in a pool of mayo or get mayo like.
You got
Doused
to make
on
sure
mayo.
you wash your nooks and crannies so you're not like breaking out in hives later on. Eggnog, I also don't want to be doused in. I'm pretty sure most coaches don't either, but after like a game like that, they're probably like, whatever, fucking do it. But like,
Why are we?
Lincoln Riley got the nog, or he got the mayo?
Lincoln Riley got the eggnog.
Yeah.
Last week we did discuss this, and a Pop-Tart got cannibalized. But
Yep.
let's kind of look at this, okay? So, not really much. Like the peach bowl, cool, right? The orange
Yep.
bowl, there's a big bowl of oranges. but there really is nothing here that is too crazy. There's,
Yeah.
the
It's not like the
Alamo
turkey on
Bowl.
Thanksgiving,
No, there's really none of that. But Duke's Mayo, West Virginia, yeah.
Which also fantastic mayonnaise. It's hard to find in most
Oh.
places, but you can get it. You can get it in Chicago pretty easily. So I'm a big Duke's Mayo guy, personally.
So the Potato Bowl,
Yeah.
okay, which I always talk about the Potato Bowl.
Potato.
Whatever.
How you doing?
Anyway, Idaho Potato Bowl. What if they doused you in mashed potatoes?
That'd be sweet.
Okay, so
Or you
add
just
mashed
start
potatoes
throwing
to
raw
it.
potatoes at you. You're just like, fuck.
Right? What if in the Boca Raton Bowl, everybody had to get a terrible suntan and, drive a Mercedes? I don't
Everybody
know.
burns their skin and drives a Mercedes. Independence Bowl, you literally have to fight to the death for your independence at the end of the game.
The Military Bowl, they send you to.
Yeah,
they
it's a war.
send you-
If
well,
you
coach,
win, you're on active deployment.
it's this is the worst fucking bowl game ever.
Guys, don't fucking win this one. Do whatever you can to lose. Lending Tree, you just get a loan in your name. I mean, most
The
of these,
guaranteed rate bowl is
Yeah.
the bowl.
it's just you get a
Right.
mortgage loan on the low. But yeah, I don't know. I think it is funny that you get Sun Bowl. There's some things you can't do anything. Gator Bowl, they just let a gator loose in the locker room.
They
You
just-
have to, yeah. Really, the Mayo Bowl and the eggnog are the two kickers for me.
What if the Alamo Bowl, they made each team recreate the scene of the Alamo,
Yeah,
and whoever won the game, I guess, gets the best
To-
award? I don't
it's the best award for the best way to anybody actually remembers the Alamo when people say, "Do you remember the Alamo?"
Yeah, and I've been to San Antonio, and they're like, "Oh, you want to go see the Alamo?" I'm like, "No,
It's
Like,
just a
it's like a-
building, isn't it?
it's a building." It's like, "Oh, there it is." Last time
I'm
I was
all-
in San Antonio, it was hot. It was fucking hot.
Yeah, it gets hot down there.
Ugh.
I'm all for the history stuff. The Alamo, I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
you see it, and it's kind of like a Mexican Southwest type building, old building. You're like, okay,
you could eat
Got
a
it.
taco at the Alamo. You could
did
eat.
you?
You could eat. No, you could. Not saying I
Okay.
did. You could though.
Okay.
Hypothetically, you could eat Tex-Mex at the Alamo.
And you'll be telling people that for hours after you do it. And that's about it. And then you'll never remember it ever again.
Just like how you should tell people to shave their face with Henson shaving.
True.
Because that might actually be more memorable than the
Then go to
Alamo.
the Alamo.
Because how smooth it makes your fotch.
True.
So with all of that being said, shave your face with Henson shaving.
This part of today's episode is brought to you by none other than our friends at Henson Shaving. If you guys have been listening to the show for a while, you already know that we swear by Henson Shaving. We've been using them for months, and there really isn't a better product out there. The Henson razor puts an end to shaving irritation and cuts while also making your skin feel comfortable and smooth. This razor is made by using CNC machines to aerospace standards. That's right. Rocket ships, people. That means it's made to very tight tolerances, meaning that the combination of how securely it's held and how minimally the blade is exposed delivers a smooth and safe shave no other razor can offer. It's literally one blade. Be safe. Please be safe. They're very sharp. You twist on the top and you get to work. It's that easy. You remember the beard bet? You remember me shaving off the whole thing. If you need to watch somebody use it, go on my Instagram and check it out because it's really that easy. Cost of ownership averages $88.20 every 2 years, which is essentially $177 less than normal cartridge razors. They're sustainable, it's precise, it's Henson Shaving. It's got a nice weight to it. It's made out of metal. None of this plastic garbage. So please use the promo code TheTaxiSquad, TheTaxi, SQUAD, at checkout, and you'll receive a 100-pack of blades free with the purchase of the razor. So you go on the site, you add the razor that you're looking for, and then you add a 100-pack of razors, you'll get those for free. For most users, this amount of blades will last you 2 to 5 years, depending on how often you shave. So that promo code, again, is the Taxi Squad at HensonShaving.com. Go check it out. All right, college football. It is coming to an end right now. We have one more game on the schedule, but before we talk about the big games, Mike, let's talk about some of the smaller games. It is time for me.
Foremost,
I want to eat a little crow. This is what I was going to say. I want to eat a little crow.
I'm just sad that it's over.
Florida State got. Oh, yeah.
I'm just sad that it's over. That's all I wanted to say. But go ahead. Go ahead. Eat your crow.
We're getting to a lot less football as the time goes on. You're going to have to become basketball Mike real quick, and I like that transition. I like the
March Madness. I can fuck with the March Madness. I got into it last year. I'll get back into it this year.
Every year, you know who I'm taking? Texas, baby!
Texas or the Volunteers. Pick one.
Let's go. No, but I want to eat crow because Florida State got fucking pummeled by Georgia. Part of me feels like Georgia probably maybe could have beat one or more of the teams that were in the top 4.
Yeah, you don't
this
think?
showing. I mean, Brock Glenn, unbelievably bad game for Mr. Brock Glenn on Florida State. Georgia wins 63-3, scores 35 points in the second quarter. Oh my God, dude. Kendall Milton, 9 carries, 2 TDs. Like, it was just Georgia all over the field. Florida State didn't stand a chance. Doesn't necessarily change my argument, but it does prove the fact that Florida State had no means to belong anywhere near that Final Four.
Yeah, if you've been listening to the pod, you know that I've been saying this for a very long time. Without Jordan Travis, this team is not there. I will say Kirby Smart did say he had very kind words to say that this team could have been better with players that actually didn't say they weren't playing. Right. So a couple of their top prospects says they were not playing in this game. Notably, of course, Jordan Travis, their
hard
top
to blame him
prospect, versus these guys who are coming out this year. Granted, I get it. You can't blame them. But then again, the NCAA wants to put out a product on the field that makes sense. There needs to be some sort of benefit for these guys.
Like a 12-team playoff?
Yes, but maybe even more so than that, which I mean, granted, it's becoming the mega conference leagues, right? That's what we're going to see. But I mean, Georgia, in my opinion, could have played Michigan just as good as Bama did, if not better. They could have played Texas or Washington just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
And I understand. I feel like the committee wanted more parity this year. Georgia played a very good Bama team, and we'll get into the Bama talk, but I do believe that they didn't play their best game. But as far as this game goes,
it's hard to complain because those games were so good, to be honest.
They were amazing. Yeah.
I mean, I just seeing the difference between a 6 and a 4 matchup being 63-3 and then both those games ending in 1-score games makes a guy wonder. That's really all it is.
Well, I will say, name of the century, Ladd McConkey. This guy is one of my favorite humans. I hope he gets drafted by the New England Patriots because it'd be the most New England Patriot thing.
It would. Ever. Yeah, that Northeast Irish motherfucker.
Ladd McConkey.
He belongs in Boston.
Yeah, legit. Rushing touchdown. Just a solid Caucasian wide receiver that nobody's heard of really before this game. You just got to love it. You got to love it. You don't see it. You just don't see it every day. But to the point, Georgia, maybe next year, 12 teams. It's going to be fun. But they're still going to piss and moan. Some teams still going to say, I personally was like, good Florida State. Everybody kind of knew you didn't deserve to go.
Yeah. But at least, like, if someone's like, hey, we're 13th, we should be 12th. It's like, you don't really got a shot anyway, buddy. Like, chill the fuck out and bring it on home. So at least you can make that argument. It is hard with 4, but it's the same conversation every single year. Wisconsin LSU happened.
It did.
Fun game. Garrett Nussmeier versus Tanner Mordecai. Mordecai looked pretty good.
He looked really good.
I was surprised, honestly. They were talking a lot about how Tyler Van Dyke is taking over Wisconsin next year, which, given how he played in Miami, it could be good or it could be bad. But it was a fun game until the end. It kind of felt like Wisconsin was going to end up taking it, but those middle 2 quarters really just LSU took care of business.
Yeah, they just gave it up, man. I mean, that game looked like Wisconsin was going to win. Like, going into
Right.
the half, they had
Yeah.
it, like, pretty much decided that was going to be the case.
Yep.
And personally, it wasn't really at all.
Ye-
Now, my whole thing, Tanner Mordecai's a transfer. He hasn't been on that team a long time.
He hasn't. I think most Wisconsin quarterbacks in the last, I don't even know how many years, have all been transfers. Even dating back to Russ.
I do believe you're correct.
Yeah, Russ was a transfer going into Wisconsin.
Yeah?
So, I mean, Tyler Van Dyke, no
Real
difference.
Quest Bowl, whatever that means.
Is that what it is?
But hey,
What
Garrett
was the bowl?
Newsmeyer. had a
Oh,
hell of a game.
Relia Quest?
The Relia Quest Bowl. You get car insurance after you win this game.
Cool.
But yeah, sweet. But no, truly, I mean, this game went down to the wire.
Yep.
And LSU pulled it out. And, Brian Kelly, him and his family came out against, just a whatever team. I mean,
You got to imagine, too, you get Heisman winner Jaden Daniels in that game. It's not as close as it was. So,
yeah,
But
I get it. But you know what? Good.
you play to
good
win the
for-
game,
good
buddy.
For a young
Yeah.
Hey, you play to win the game. Jaden Daniels somehow is getting all this talk now that he's like a top 5.
I think that's
NFL
probably because he
QB.
won the Heisman.
Okay. Well, why don't we
Back
talk
to
about
this
it then?
again? Let's talk about that again.
Because Penix showed you why he was a Heisman candidate. And
It's
I
not a
personally
playoff
believe
award, Mike. It's not a playoff award. It's like MVP in the NFL.
Still, did you elevate your team to the highest level possible? And are you taking them to the next step against the best talent in the country?
Yeah, he's
as
the
a
most
quarter-
valuable guy on the team that he played for.
Did they lose games?
Yes.
Okay. Were they ranked second in the country ever?
Oh, that's relative. It
Uh-huh.
is. Someone just makes the call.
not relative. No, it's
I'm just
bullshit.
happy because my estimation for it ended up coming true. That's the only reason why. I have no reason to fight for Jaden Daniels at all. I called it in like week 7. So I was like, hey,
yeah, whatever.
I did.
Yeah. And I
did.
I guess I'm a little butthurt because I had a Michael Penix early on
yeah.
Heisman pick and it didn't work. But I mean, listen, the proof is in the pudding right now. And Penix, that makes sense why he would be going up draft boards right now, considering how he looked
True.
in the Sugar Bowl. I mean, truly, just what a great
Lights
game.
out.
I don't know. I personally believe this should have been the first game on the day, but they wanted to give you, the Rose Bowl, granted.
Yeah.
But I mean, Penix, 430 yards, 2 touchdowns, 29 for 38. I mean, just an absolute dog.
Yeah, let's do Sugar Bowl. Best player in the game for sure. There's no doubt about it. Quinn Ewers, a little tired performance. He threw the ball a lot, and sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad. This was a game where it seemed like Washington was in charge the whole time. But every time you looked at the score, you're like, this is feasible for Texas to come back and do it. A couple times felt like it was going to happen. One point in the game, Washington up 34-21. Texas ends up scoring. They go for 1 to make it a 2-score advantage Washington rather than an 8-point advantage for Washington. Doesn't end up mattering because Washington goes up 9 with a 27-yard field goal, and then Texas ends up kicking a field goal. They go down 6, and the game is over. It wasn't as close as it made it seem, I think, is my biggest takeaway from this.
Yeah, after the third quarter, I just kind of got to a point where I was like, yep, they got this thing pretty decided, needless to say. So with all that
Texas did get 50 seconds to win the game. Like, they literally had the opportunity to win a game.
The Booger Eater really didn't give them a great opportunity to come back, in my eyes.
No.
There's some instances where you could have decided to kick it, as opposed to kick it, 2-point conversion.
2, right?
There were some things here in my eyes that they could have played a little bit more aggressive. Now, I just, Roma Dunze, Michael Penix, absolute. Roma Dunze might be the closest thing to Jamar Chase we've seen since Jamar Chase. He's a freak.
That being recency bias, though, some people were saying some shit about, Johnston last year on TCU, and that hasn't worked out too well in the NFL so far. So,
yeah, but then again, he had Brandon Staley as his head coach. So
true. Everything with a grain of salt.
Everything with a grain of salt. Yeah, that guy had a lot of egregious drops this year, unfortunately. But to your point, you never know till they make it to the next level. But I do really believe we couldn't have saw a better Sugar Bowl than what was given to us. Now, I don't know who's to say that if they play Georgia, is it the same thing? Or
right.
Because Georgia would have rolled Texas. There, in my eyes, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of what ifs. I don't think Texas would have done well against Georgia either, especially with how Washington was kind of just tearing apart. Like Quinn Ewers just was not comfortable in the pocket the whole game, and it was obvious. One thing, I don't know if this is me, or I don't know if it was it's the level of lefty quarterbacks I've seen in my time, but something about lefty quarterbacks gets me so hyped, dude.
Yeah, they get you a little hot and bothered,
Seeing
don't they?
the guy sling from the left side, it's like I'm thinking Vic, I'm thinking Tebow. Like even when I see Tua play, I'm like he might be the fastest guy on the field, even though he's definitely not. It's like in my head, I was like he might be the fastest guy on the field.
To see a lefty QB is just awkward. First and foremost, it's not something you see every day. And everybody was high on Matt Leinart, and there hadn't been a true lefty quarterback since Matt Leinart in the NFL.
Well,
and he sucked.
Mike Vick.
Well, Mike Vick, yeah, but Vick is a different tier,
right?
In my eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm saying after Mike Vick, let's put it. Mike Vick's the anomaly in this situation. But now Tua's come in, and Flores didn't believe in Tua. Mike McDaniel stepped in and said, "No, he's a guy." And he
is a guy.
He is a guy.
Seems like he is.
Statistically, one of the best this season. Now, with all that being said, I mean, Penix has shown that he may be the next one up. And I mean, Joel Klatt talks a lot about the fact that he puts the ball in places for his receivers to win.
Yeah.
So there's no such thing as a 50-50 ball. And I'm paraphrasing. It's more of like a 60-30 ball.
There's a couple of those this game, too. Very particularly.
Right. Leverage is the word. And I think that he has a keen ability to utilize leverage to his advantage where not many quarterbacks understand how that works. Guys like Tom Brady, of course, knew how that worked, right? Look what
Peyton Manning, too, because, beginning of Peyton Manning's career was just hospital throw after hospital throw, and then he ended up figuring it out after a while.
Well, because he had no protection, but then he got Marvin Harrison, and then he got, some of the best.
Who has a son, and don't you goddamn forget that.
Don't you forget about it. We're going to talk about it in length. But with that, though, I do believe that, hey, I think this national championship is, I think, what the committee wanted. They wanted some parity. I thought Alabama, and they sure as shit gave that game away. I thought they had a chance to win. And to get right into it, Michigan, Alabama, the Rose Bowl.
What a stadium, man. What a fucking stadium.
Well, I was just about to lead into this. Kirk Herbstreit came out and basically said that, this should be the national championship every year. In the Rose Bowl, doing this year after year.
Yeah.
Don't do it on an alternative site. The tradition of the game, all of it, the name of it, the energy at the stadium, all of it.
What happens if USC makes it?
Because it's amazing. It makes it.
I know, but that's a fucking home game.
It's not really a home game. I mean, they've played in Rose Bowls before a couple of years ago.
True.
With Sam Darnold and Penn State. And I mean, granted, they won, but I believe that I don't agree with Kirk Herbstreit always. So let's say that.
Oh, I always knew you as a big Herbstreit guy.
Oh, man, I can't stand Thursday Night Football.
We actually talked about this. I don't mind him. I don't. I really don't.
He should stay in college. Either way, his dog's really cute, and he takes him out before the game and meets all the players. Yeah, beautiful little Goldie man.
Handsome
happy
dog.
guy. But back to this game. I mean, hey, J.J. McCarthy maybe leaving. I mean, he had a Chicago boy, by the way.
I know.
Chicago suburb boy, 3
can't.
touchdowns, 221 yards, 17 for 27. Harbaugh's back.
I can't with them, dude. There's something about him. I watch him play. I see the stat line, 17 for 27. Pretty fucking good. Did not throw the ball a lot. And this can go along with the point I wanted to make about this. First, Jalen Milroe didn't look good. The defenses were all over everybody. He couldn't get out of the pocket. He couldn't make shit happen. 116 yards on 16 throws. Or on 23 throws, 16 completions. He seemed like he was Jalen Milroe week 2, not Jalen Milroe last week. In the same vein, though, J.J. McCarthy with Blake Corum, very good. Blake Corum is very fucking good. And every time I watch him play against OSU, the same thing. It was like, this is the Blake Corum show. I think J.J. McCarthy is probably going to get overdrafted. I anticipate that when that happens. I think the Harbaugh offense is working out well. I also think that both teams were like, you know how NASCAR, you like drive behind the guy and you're drafting behind him?
Yeah, it's called that. Yeah, that's exactly what it's called. It's called drafting.
I feel like both teams were doing that in subsequent halves. It was like Michigan was sticking with Alabama in the first half, and you're like, oh, Alabama's going to win this. And then
yeah.
Right. And then vice versa. Alabama was drafting Michigan, and then it seemed like Michigan was kind of just hanging out right behind Alabama. Tie game at the end of the game. Michigan ends up scoring it. It ends. It was like neither of these performances were uplifting for me, being like, oh, they're going to do great next time. It seemed like both teams were just waiting for the other one to fuck up, and they just kept tossing the ball back and forth.
Or one could say maybe it was a game of chess.
Felt like it.
I think it was two great coaches knowing how to play each other. They've had more than enough time to watch film on each other. And I think they knew each other's tendencies very well. And I think Harbaugh just got his play.
Yeah.
Or he picked his spots and he picked them better than Saban. I think the Jalen Milroe thing, he relied way too much on his legs.
Yep.
Where in these other games that they pulled out,
could not do much with it.
The game against Georgia, they really had a game plan that worked, and he was throwing the ball over the yard. And granted, he rushed for over 100 yards, but still,
he also had that one throw that was fucking obscene, where he just absolute dart. Like, how do you make that throw again?
So one could say Michigan's secondary may be better than Georgia's. The what if train is always going to be a thing
QB spy too was huge. I mean, like 21 carries, 3 yards a carry.
Michigan had 5 sacks in the first half.
Fucked him up, dude.
Fucked him up. They didn't have a response. What I kind of thought was great, and I love the parody in this. The Bama O-line purposely before the game walked down Michigan's sideline and stared down their defensive line. And I think that really pissed them off.
Idiots.
And
dude, Michigan's defensive line is a fucking unit, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean,
you're not going up against fucking like FAU, dude. Like, what are you doing?
I think they might have taken them a little less seriously than they should have.
Bama?
I think, yeah.
The thing is, too, is like Bama
a little lightly. You're Bama.
You maybe shouldn't even have been in this in the first place.
Well,
I'm not saying that they should or shouldn't. There was arguments. Michigan was going to make it, no matter what. It's like there's obviously a differentiation in thought. So if they weren't taking it seriously, like, what the fuck are you taking seriously then? They're number one in the nation. Regardless of what your opinions are, they're still number one in the nation. Like, fuck them up. Don't give them more reason to, like, put freaking fuel on the fire.
Bama had some chances, man. They had some chances, and that fourth down really, really fucked them up bad. And then, granted, they didn't get the first chance to score and all that. I mean, they didn't have the offensive firepower to win this game, and Jalen Milroe got exposed. It's that simple. Yeah. And J.J. McCarthy's good.
And Blake Corum
and I think
great.
You're going to have a... And Blake Corum
I
is
love
great.
him. He's great. He's so
I know.
Good.
But is he going to be a day one guy in the NFL draft? I don't
know, but he's I don't think so, just because.
Is he Bijan? I don't think he's Bijan. I don't know. He doesn't seem like an NFL running back to me.
He seems like he can probably play scat back a bit. he will definitely be in a rotation, maybe like a 2-back
Right.
system. But I do think he has the opportunity. He gives me like a feeling similar to how Jonathan Taylor kind of was coming out of college, because no one really knew what he was going to be. He ended up obviously blowing expectations out of the water, but if he middle lines what Jonathan Taylor was supposed to be, I could see him going with the same trajectory.
That might be a smidge of a stretch. Jonathan
He
Taylor
was-
at
Jonathan-
Wisconsin was a force. I'm not
And
saying
where was he drafted?
first round?
Jonathan Taylor was in first round?
Yeah, I swear to God he was.
I don't think so, man.
You sure about that?
You sure about that?
I'm
I
gonna
want
have
to say he was
Google
second or
check
third day.
this. You
I'm
sure?
figuring it out. He was drafted. Dun, 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 dun. What the fuck? Career. Freshman. Where are you? Second round, 2020. 41st pick.
I was close. Almost a first round pick.
I was
Almost
exactly
first
right. You were close. I was exactly right.
Semi-right. You were
I was
semi-right.
I said second round. That's exactly correct.
For whatever reason, I thought he wasn't.
Oh. No, because a
All
lot of
right.
people thought, I don't know if
See,
Jonathan
I'm
Taylor's
thoughtful
going to.
now. I get to eat my words, similar to how you ate your words on Texas.
True. A lot of.
But hey,
and same here, sir. I took Michigan outright.
I know you
right
did.
off the bat.
I know you did. I know, and overtime. I mean, it's not like it wasn't a close game.
Yep.
It's not like it was FSU. Don't.
Both sides. Both sides were 1 score games, sir.
Well, sure, but Washington really had the brakes on that Texas team until
Some
like,
would
the
say
very
it's
end.
actually a smaller deficit that they lost by. Some would say. I wouldn't bring that up. I wouldn't do that to
watch
you,
the
but
game
some
itself,
would say.
If you watch the game itself, the
All right.
Bama-Michigan game, far closer matchup than the Texas-Washington game.
Didn't say it wasn't. I'm just saying 6 points.
Hey, the stat line will say one thing. Now, what else you're looking at over there may not, okay? Now, my whole thing is, all right, let's talk the big day. Okay, so January 8th, 5:30, we have the College Football National Championship.
Yeah.
We have Washington as the away underdog against Michigan. Where is this game being played?
I actually don't know. I was just going to ask you the same thing.
I don't think it's Azarona. Let's see.
I was like, what the fuck is Azarona? Got it.
It's Arizona.
Yeah, no. I figured
NRG
that out.
Stadium in Houston.
Energy
Okay.
in Houston, Texas.
So they're going back to Houston.
Interesting.
Gonna be big. Gonna be a big game.
It's gonna be a big game. I'm interested to see what the
It's gonna-
defensive line on Michigan ends up doing to Mr. Michael Penix. I don't know. It seems like they have like a certain level of gusto in them right now that could carry them really far. I am not extremely afraid of the Washington's defense. I don't know, man. What do you? I mean, I'm thinking that you're going to take Washington probably. That's your inkling.
Not my inkling. I'm just looking at it like, okay, best offensive line in the country just performed very well against a very good defensive line in Texas. Some
Yep.
rated them top 5. Granted, Michigan, very stout defense. I don't have a prediction really right now. I need more reading and get back to me sometime.
You want to
My
know
whole
what
thing-
sucks is that we can't because the game's going to be over by the next time you get an opportunity to make a prediction.
You got a point. So with that, I'm rolling Washington. Fuck it, parody. Vince is going Midwest. I'm going West Coast
Yep.
here. I just like Penix so much that I have to die on this fucking hill, which so
Yeah.
I'm going to. But I will say this: it's going to be a very close game,
Yes.
and the Michigan secondary is far superior than the Texas secondary. So I
Yes.
think that's where this is going to be the balancing act. The first half, I think it's going to look very similar to the Bama first half. Either that or it's going to just be a fucking drag race the entire game of offense.
Those 70-30 balls are going to be closer to 60-40, I'd say. against the Michigan secondary versus a Texas secondary.
We'll see the amount of pressure that they can put on Penix.
You gotta
That's
think
I
a
think
lot
that's good.
because that play
Yeah,
style
granted they had
worked.
5 sacks in the first half against Bama, but Bama's offensive line is not
Milrow
rated.
runs a lot.
So does
And
Penix. Penix
I
is a
know,
fucking magician back there.
I know, but I think he's going to be a little more patient. Like Milrow was like on the side of always depending on his feet. Because at the beginning of the year, he couldn't throw the ball for shit. Like Penix is accurate. Penix will throw the ball.
He's very
runs.
accurate, and he's creative, and he knows where to put the football.
Right.
So I think this is going to be a little bit different, and I think the height factor, all of it, and Michigan's lack of ability to show up in big games year after year. And there's a lot of talk right now. You got Paul Feinbaum coming out on the SEC network basically saying Harbaugh is gone. You got the other guy who smokes a million cigarettes on FS1 talking about how he's gone. So maybe the players feel some sort of like, okay, this is our last ride. Or maybe it's like, well, our guy's not coming back, and maybe
this
we don't.
Feels
play
like horse ride out into the sunset, win the big one, and get the F out. That's what it's giving me right now. That reminded me of a quote from the man, the myth, the legend, J.J. McCarthy, about sign stealing. J.J. McCarthy says, about 80% of teams in college football steal signs. We actually had to adapt because in 2019, 2020, Ohio State was stealing our signs, which is legal. We had to get up to their level that they were at. Oh my Jesus God, sorry. We had to get up to the level they were at and make it an even playing field, is what he said, which is kind of what we were saying a little bit earlier in the year, where it's like everybody steals signs. Now where it becomes an issue is when you hire a guy to fucking go to every game. And
you ain't cheating. You ain't trying.
And also the reason that you're not allowed to do what Connor Stallions did is because it's a competitive advantage over schools that can't afford to have a guy on staff to do that. That's the reason he can't do it. Not because it's illegal, because it's not fair.
If you picked up tendencies in film and saw the same thing in a game and they matched up, then yeah, you call that out all you want. But to your point, they were sending a fucking full-blown grown-ass man recon missions. And just always the question is, why in the fuck isn't your mother or your grandma or your granddad or your best friend buying your tickets for you?
Right.
And you're going. So it's not
some just random fucking, your friend with a random name. Like, do that.
Because you could make it look like gas, right? If your buddy bought all the tickets. And I'm like, hey, my friend bought the tickets. I mean, I wasn't there.
Right. But even so, like, what J.J. McCarthy's saying isn't necessarily incorrect. Like,
no,
also,
it's not.
he's gonna back his guy until he's blue in the face, because he should. So
absolutely. Now, what I will say is, if you wanted this to all go away, put fucking mics in their helmets. This would all go away.
Do they not have play call mics?
No, they do not. In college football, there are no play. Why do you think the sign stealing allegations are such a big fucking deal? Because there's no mics in the helmets of college football players. Something with the helmet manufacturers, a lot of it leads back to the fact that the NCAA does promote cheating. I'm sorry, it does. The organization itself is corrupt.
I mean, Alabama, man, how do they win so much? They didn't cheat? Like, fuck off.
No, to the point,
I'm not even saying it as a negative way. They had to.
The boosters create scenarios at each major program to say why they can't do that.
Right.
And a large reason because of it is to promote the sign stealing, the cheating, that's not a part of our game, that it becomes too much like the pro game. We have a deal with this helmet manufacturer as opposed to this helmet manufacturer. One team might have a deal with Schutt, the other might have a deal with Rydell. Supposedly it's all about the money.
But guys, it's all about if you're Schutt, if you're fucking Rydell, if you're freaking playing against sports, like, this is a college. Find a place to put a tiny little microphone. It is not that difficult to do.
Well, Saban's come out and even stated there's no reason why we can't be like the NFL and have mics in the helmets, all these guys. And he's like, you wouldn't see it anymore. It'll go away.
It's not rocket science, man. It's pretty, dude, they make microphones that are the size of like a freaking piece of rice.
Here's when it'll change. after they throw the book at Harbaugh after this season, because I do believe the reason he's leaving is because we don't know half.
Does he get
of
the
shit.
Tressel treatment? I've been
He's
asking.
totally getting the Tressel / Joe Pa treatment, where he might just be excommunicated from college football for.
I mean, Joe Pa makes more sense, I'd say.
Now, here's the question: if Michigan does go national title, they win. Did Harbaugh do his job for that program?
Yep.
I don't disagree.
Cut and dry. Done. He won a championship. When's the last time he did it, boys?
Right. Not a very long time. So I don't know. In my eyes, I feel like he did his gig. If he wins, which in a way kind of makes me want to gun for him a little bit, but then again, I'm like, no, fuck that guy. I'm rolling with Penix. Like I'm saying, I'm dying on this hill. I'm dying on this Roma Dunze Michael Penix hill.
We shall see how the game works out. I'm looking forward to it.
Same.
One thing that they're going to have to do at this game, because, the Houston Heat be coming regardless of what time of year it is.
Humid.
They're going to be sweating. You're going to be losing electrolytes.
And
we have something that works perfectly for that. And it goes by the name of Liquid IV, Michael. So, without further ado, here's a reading from our friends at Liquid IV. This portion of today's show is brought to you by Liquid IV. That's right, the hydration brand we've all come to know and love is with ya boys. It's festival, outdoor party, and adventure season, and proper hydration is essential. You don't want to miss out on the summertime activities while they're still here. Liquid IV will help you hydrate and stay in the game. I've been using Liquid IV for a few years, and I found a ton of uses for it. Going to sleep after a day-long soiree. This is the product that helps me rehydrate and recover. I brought them with me on hikes, long bike rides, vacations, and maybe most importantly, bachelor party weekends. The beauty of it all is that Liquid IV comes in a small, convenient package that you just add to a bottle of water and drink away. 1 stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the Taxi Squad podcast code, TAXISQUAD no spaces, at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using the promo code Taxi Squad podcast at liquidiv.com.
The NFL people, last week we sang you a song about how the Bears make the playoffs. This week is not going to be as melodic, but you got a song forever now. So
you got a song forever that didn't matter because they're not making the playoffs anymore.
Yeah, but hey, we could be the next hottest thing on the country scene. True. Considering most Caucasian males from the Midwest do that now. But
maybe
I guess we could just talk with Southern accents and just pretend. Because that's just what they do now.
Now that I'm done writing podcast intros, I'll probably move on to country music.
What a jingle writer, by the way. Can we give Vinny snaps right now for his beautiful narration?
Thank you, people.
Intro song. Lovely intro song.
Very fun.
But we had another nail-biter of a week of picks. Vince and I tied for the second week in a row.
Yeah.
9-7.
Which means, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bury it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, which means right now we're tied on the year as well. So last week, I beat you by 1 game, which tied us up. 2 weeks ago, I beat you by 1 game, which made me within 1 game. So the last 2 weeks, I've just been like,
he's creeping. He's creeping up. I think this is the closest we've been now in 3 years of doing this. Ever.
Yeah, for sure.
I was running away with it last year. Vince was running away with it the year before. And now we're getting better at these things.
Some would say we're smarter or we're just more even. One or the other.
One of the two.
A couple other reminders, too, based on our halfway through the season picks, since this is the last week of our Super Bowl picks. I took the Eagles, and you took the Bengals.
Well, that's before the Joey B injury, for the record.
That's the reason that we do the way too early Super Bowl picks, because we're not right. You had Lions, Bengals. I had Chiefs, Eagles in the Super Bowl. Mine, I guess, is still alive, but very unlikely. Yours is essentially dead, but They're just about as dead as each other, in my
It's a
humble
dead
opinion.
tiger. It's a
Yeah.
dead tiger and a dead bird.
But yeah, so the picks that we make this week are going to essentially show what happens at the end of the year and see who wins. We might have to move into a week later, or we just go right into the playoffs and rock it out that way. We'll see how that ends up working out when we finish it up this year. But regardless, we do a thing on this show where we either rip it or we skip it, and that is considered skip it or rip it. So without further ado, let's hop into the games of last week, starting out with Jets-Browns. Mike, skip it or rip it?
We got to rip it just due to the fact that we were sitting next to each other while we were watching it.
Yes, we were.
Joe Flacco is alive. I mean, we were narrating most of that game. It was like, oh, Joe Flacco.
Yeah, we don't have to go too far into it,
Flacco.
obviously, because we were watching it. But Joe Flacco is so good for some reason. And the Browns actually have an opportunity to start a different quarterback this week since they solidified their playoff spot, which would make Kevin Stefanski the first coach, if they win this week, first coach to win with 5 different starting quarterbacks in a season.
If they win this next week, which looks like they will,
Coach of
is
the
he
year?
not the coach of the year?
Has to be, right?
He's got to be, man. He's pulled a rabbit out of his head. He got a guy who was getting rubbed into Zugazibs, and then he had another guy who played at UCLA, and then he had another guy who got cut from the Bears, and then he got fucking Joe Flacco off the couch.
Yep.
I mean, where are you going?
Joe Flacco is nearing Deshaun Watson's total Cleveland Browns touchdown scored in like 4 weeks. So I don't see a reality in the future, regardless of what happens in the playoffs, where they don't bring him back next year.
They have to. He forced the hand. He said, I have a job now. Thank you.
And like Deshaun Watson might be the most expensive backup in the league until Joe Flacco proves that he's not elite again. Like, what the fuck?
Guaranteed money. There are some horrible dead money contracts out there right now that are players. Usually they're coaches. But, man.
The Raiders.
You got Russell Wilson. You got Russell. You got the Raiders.
Yeah.
And now you have the tug man himself, Deshaun Watson, out here sitting on a bench. And when you see him, he's all fucking ears, man. He's smiling. He's like, man, highway robbery, I'm good.
Yeah.
I can get all the tuggies I want for the rest of my life.
It's not what you want from a supposed franchise quarterback, but
regardless, he's done. He's done. They're all cut. All those guys that we just named are all cut, by the way, except for Flacco. Flacco probably gets his job. Mentors
Deshaun Watson's cut.
Okay, Flacco's outplayed him in every way. There's no chance that he plays next year.
I'm with you. I'm just saying the amount of money that they have into the guy, it feels like they're not going to cut him. But they could. It's certainly possible.
I mean, I look at the opposite. It's like, look at how much money they gave Flacco, fucking vet minimum, and he's out here taking them to the playoffs, winning divisions.
True. They still have to pay that money, though, if they cut him, no?
I don't know how the contracts are all worked up and what money's guaranteed.
The NFL,
when, where, how, I don't know.
The cap in the NFL is so easily manipulatable. Like, they could probably do something.
They claim it's not, but it is.
It is. Every single year you see
totally
something like that. But Browns going to the playoffs. Congrats to Cleveland. I'm happy for you guys. Joe Flacco till we die. Next game, Lions-Cowboys. Obviously rip it.
Gotta rip it, man. I mean,
what the
Dan
fuck?
Campbell, I love that man. I really do. I love Dan Campbell a lot, but I don't know what he was thinking with that. He had not only was there 3 opportunities to tie the game and go into OT. Fine, the first time the trick play doesn't work. I get it. 2 guys checked in to be one eligible, one not.
Yeah.
Refs fucked it up. All this. Okay, fine. Yeah, I get it. But after that, swallow your pride. Go to OT because they were moving the football.
To give some clarity to those who didn't see it or have been living under a rock, essentially the Lions go for a little trick play. Big boy, 2-point conversion. You fucking love to see it. Taylor Decker catches it. It's called back. They were essentially trying to do like a little trickery. So they were trying to be like, hey, this guy's going to check in and be the eligible receiver, but maybe it's this guy and maybe it's this guy. They said, Dan Campbell claims earlier in the day, they talked to the refs. They said, hey, Decker's going to be eligible receiver. They thought it was Ragnow, I think, or something like that, or Penny Sewell, or somebody like that.
It was a separate alignment, but yeah, to your point, they tried to do a little trickery,
Yep.
and it kind of blew up in their face. I don't know. It seemed a little cooked to me.
They called it
Seemed like the ref
back
cooked it.
regardless. They try going for it again. Doesn't end up working out. They lose by 1, and the Dallas Cowboys win that game. That's one of those, like, tie and move on after it doesn't work. I'm agreeing with you entirely on this. But regardless, like, they still won the division, so they'll be fine. But hopefully he just keeps this in his back pocket. Like, maybe in a game that means a little bit more. Because, I mean, now the Cowboys are on top of the NFC East, which is another new non-repeat division winner every single year since, like, 8 years ago or something like that? Like, it's something crazy for the NFC East.
Well, surprisingly enough, they're probably going to win their division, and
lose in the second round.
or the first round, one of the two.
The Dallas way, baby.
I just look at it like, okay, wow, Cowboys got away with one. I think truly they got the good end of this stick, not the bad end. And
is Tony Pollard bad?
He just is he needs a second guy. We were talking about it last week. He needs a guy in front of him to really lay down the hammer, and he's not that guy.
CeeDee Lamb is that guy, though.
CeeDee Lamb spazzed. Dear Lord.
That's a
that
fact.
man is
Hey, Beyonce got
insanely
canceled
good.
for that word, dude.
What?
Spazzed.
Well, I'm just saying from the
No,
sense
I
of,
know,
like,
I'm with you. I just think it's funny that Beyonce got canceled for it. But yeah, no, he did. He's an absolute monster. Absolute monster.
13 receptions, 227 yards, and a touchdown.
227 receiving is fucking obscene.
And what's great is literally immediately in his locker after the game, there was a note from the NFLPA giving
Drug
him
test.
a random drug test.
Yep.
And he went on Instagram to say, took you no time at all.
Yeah. No, they were ready for that to go by the end of the third quarter, I'd say.
For the record, CeeDee Lamb has always been an absolute freak.
Yep.
And the man is truly a God-given ability of athletic prowess you've never seen.
True.
So he's it. He is him, as they would say in the words of the kids.
Timothy Lamb, as some would say. All right, moving on. Titans, Texans.
Well, I guess we could. CJ's back, and he's really good, and he's probably the reason they win that division.
Yep. And
I
that opportunity is there. It's not as likely as another team or another team. Like, there's 3 teams that are going for it right now. But we're going to go through all the playoff implications after we finish Skip and Rip It. But CJ's the man, and they're a lot better with him. Our boys, Mike.
Absolutely. Bears
fucked up the Falcons. They fucked them up. There was a part of there where I felt like maybe there was a way, like, that the Falcons could come back, but every ball that to Heineke threw, I was like, it's either close to an interception or it is an interception. Like, Tremaine Edmonds maybe dropped 3 interceptions, and I'm not even mad about it just because he was in the right place at the right time.
The Bears, man, they gave it to him. And TJ Edwards may be one of the best tacklers in the league, for the record.
Yeah.
And with all that being said, I'm just, they do this to me. I'm watching them. I'm getting like excited. And then now I'm like, okay. And Justin Fields looks really good. And DJ Moore is a dog. And all this good things are happening. And I'm like, am I believing again? Yeah. And I don't know if it was the Christmas spirit. I don't know what it may have been, but I might be believing again, Vince. And this is always what happens. And they're playing the Packers next week. And you know, I'm believing again. And Fields, I mean, has looked wonderful over his last 5 games. He's truly looked like a guy who has been playing for his job.
Yeah, for sure. For better or for worse, Eberflus is back next year. I don't see any way that he's not back next year. I think I said at the beginning of the season, I'm hoping for 8 wins. If they beat the Packers, then they've gotten to 8 wins. Not my favorite way to do so, but they did. Fields looks good, like you said. DJ Moore's been totally integrated into this offense. He was going on an absolute freak show. I like the double running back. I don't know if Khalil Herbert is a one running back. I think he's probably a two. But regardless, it was like, I'm not going to act like the Atlanta Falcons are world beaters. I'm not going to act like they beat like David and the Goliath, but they're not bad. And that defense is good. And the Bears had a really good day against that defense. And our defense looks so good. They finally got it together. They look so good.
What we have to understand is that Fields missed Tyler Scott, like beautiful ball in the back of the end zone.
Scott also missed Fields at least one time too, where I was like, "You should."
Well,
really
Scott,
have had that ball.
he's young, and I think he's got a long way to go.
Yeah,
but he's a burner,
Talented.
and he's got the wheels for it. And if
he's
they
doing what
figure it
Darnell
out,
Mooney should be doing.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
And Mooney doesn't deserve to be on the field right now. I think that Tyler Scott, he could develop into a guy. It's just doing shit that you don't. He didn't need to leave his feet to get that ball in particular that was in the back of the end zone at the end of the third quarter. But Fields, man, I mean, threading the needle. I mean, really looking as if he is a guy. 20 for 32, 268, touchdown. His last 5 games, fun fact, Justin Fields has a pass rating. It's not as crazy as you think. It's 77.6 with 1,000 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So these are the last 5 games of his career. He's played pretty well. It's nothing to
OC too, because we have an OC that's actively trying to make his life harder.
I had a thought process the other day. So Frank Reich is a guy who had tremendous success with Carson Wentz, similar athletic ability at the time. And Frank Reich got the most out of him. And then Frank Reich had the opportunity with Bryce Young, but I don't think they jived. I think they wanted C.J. Stroud. The owner came in. Dave Tepper said, no, that's not going to happen.
Well, there's an argument that David Tepper might be the worst owner in the NFL now, too.
Correct. So he thinks he knows better than most. And all signs lean to the fact that Carolina wanted C.J. Stroud, and I think it would have been a lot different if they drafted him, considering the play on the field.
I'm glad they didn't.
With all that being said, man, I think Frank Reich might be a beautiful union for Justin Fields, and he knows Eberflus.
It would be awesome if it worked out, because then it's just like Carolina's just taking L's all over Chicago. Like losing their head coach, coming in and being the OC and working with the quarterback. We confirm have the first pick in the draft. I don't think they're drafting a quarterback now. It's basically impossible for them to do so. I still see some stuff out there that I know.
Chanting. We want Fields. So when Chicago fans speak, I think you got to listen.
Yeah, but that's not always the way it always goes. I've still seen stuff around there, and we're gonna have this conversation until April. Like we're gonna be having that. Are they gonna keep him? Are they gonna get rid of him? And I think everybody knows that right now. Recency bias be as it is, I don't think that they draft a quarterback. I think they probably trade out. I'd like to have Marvin Harrison, but I don't know if I'm using the number 1 on him. But regardless, what a fleece of a pickup. Trading the number 1 last year and then getting the number 1 this year is you got to give Poles some credit. He's not going to know what's going to happen, but you got to give him some credit for this fucking move, man.
He got DJ Moore, man. I think that DJ Moore is even coming out and said Justin Fields is him. He just needs time to grow. I want to be here with him.
Yeah, you got to understand what we did was trade Bryce Young to the Panthers for DJ Moore in this year's first-round draft pick. And a second rounder. I'm in. That's amazing. That's an amazing it's all hindsight's always 20/20. If Bryce Young was amazing, then it's a different conversation. But what a fucking trade, man. This is great.
On paper, it looks great. We'll see if Kevin Warren keeps these guys around as far as Flus. But then again,
Flus is staying. He's not leaving.
If they win on Sunday, this team will be 8-9 on the season.
Yep.
And we asked each other before the season even started, what would you be happy with if they finished the season with a winning record, losing record? We both said we would be content with 8-9.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
And does it look like Justin Fields is improving? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Does it look like he can be something that's impressive? The answer is yes. Does it look like if you give him more protection and an offensive game plan that fit his ability, would he be better? All signs
seems
like
yes. It. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are we supposed to say? I mean, I want to keep him now. I hope it goes well. I don't know. And the thing is, too,
No.
is he was playing in the fucking elements, and it did not matter. That was the thing, too. It was like it was snowing its ass off out there. He had to take his visor off because it kept getting wet and shit. Like it was, I was like, damn, and it didn't seem to faze him at all. That's the kind of guy you need in Chicago. I don't know, man. I'm back in. I'm so fucked.
We're so back. We are
We're
so back
fucked.
in.
We're so fucked.
And
It's so bad.
They like square your legs up every year. They
Yep.
like totally shut them, right?
And they're
then
just
they just,
tickling you all year, and then at the end they're like, "Get over here, baby boy."
And then they just like, get over here. And then usually they line you up to kick you square in the balls.
Yeah,
Because this
Yeah.
is what they do.
I'm just hoping one of these
And-
days they'll Jason Whitlock us instead. You know,
Oh. If you've been listening to this
Call
long,
back.
you already know.
call back.
Oh, gross. But to that point, I believe, I'm like the fucking Polar Express.
It's the
right
most
now
dangerous
of being a
thing in a
Bears fan.
Chicago Bears fan. Like it's the most dangerous thing you could possibly do is believe.
In the beginning of the season, I didn't hear the Bears bell, and now somehow I'm believing in the Bears magic again,
Yeah.
and the cycle continues.
Somebody clip this and post it on the same day next year. Let's see what ends up happening.
We'll see, but all signs. I mean, okay, let's talk about this for a second. Then
Are they the Lions of last year?
They could be. That's the thing. But then again, they didn't have Ben. Last year the Lions had Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson may be one of the best OCs in the league right now.
Yeah, but he's
considering what
gone,
doing.
right?
He's got to be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But with all of that, once again, I think the Frank Reich thing makes sense. Flus and him know each other. You bring him in. I mean, hey, here's a guy. Here's an immense talent. You know what to do with this. You did it with Carson Wentz before he sucked. And then when Wentz lost him, he was shitty again.
Yeah. I'm not I don't know, man. I've never seen a Bears offense play well, and they played pretty well that game, and it just makes me happy. So we'll see what ends up happening in this conversation.
Well, Fields running around and ripping the ball the way he did, it reminded me of like a Jay Cutler that I actually like.
Yeah.
Except he makes better decisions than Jay Cutler.
Mike wants Cutler back. Put it on a postcard.
Oh, man, I hated him for so long, too.
He's so much better than everybody else we've had, though.
I know. I guess I just needed time to heal the wound. But, like, I look back at some of that film of fucking Jay Cutler. I'm like, Jesus, that guy was a dog.
Yeah.
He
so
really
much
was.
better than
In his
other guys.
prime, Jay Cutler was fucking slinging around. All
It's
right,
all
let's
relative.
move on. Fucking the Falcons and the Bears have our heart once again. And, okay.
Dolphins, Ravens.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
Lamar Jackson, MVP. First off. First thing I'm saying. Who else could
Yeah,
you
he had an
possibly
amazing-
give it to? Who else could you
he had
possibly
a-
give it to?
He had an amazing game.
Quarterback that's a running back gets 2 MVPs and is the number 1 seed in the AFC. Looks like those guys were fucking wrong.
And it goes to show he's him.
5
He's
TDs.
fucking good, man.
He didn't really run the ball that much that game.
He
Truly
was.
didn't.
This was like a watch me
Yeah.
sort of thing. Like, yeah, you wanna, okay, say this. You want to say we can't compete? Fine. Eh.
I'll throw the ball 21 times and get 5 touchdowns. Fuck you, is what he said.
Isaiah
So-
Likely has
yeah.
2 of them. Zay Flowers, Justice Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, Odell didn't even show up on the stat line. I don't think he
No.
gives a shit. I think
He had
this
1
team
catch
is-
for 33 fucking yards, though.
I know. That's fine. But I mean, hey, who would have thought that Patrick Ricard, white fullback,
Dog.
gets a touchdown?
Yeah.
That's his only touchdown in the season, probably. But hey,
Get in there.
I think he wanted to hook his boy up,
And Melvin Gordon. Old name
There's
alert.
a name.
Who remembers him?
There's the old fumbler.
The Ravens are clearly the best team in the AFC. I think right now, as far as like a legacy situation's concerned, Lamar's probably getting his second MVP. This is the year he needs to prove, okay, like I got the defense. I have the people. I have the receiving core. I have all that stuff. This is the time that he needs to prove that he can win games in the playoffs and do something substantial. And I think that he can. And then seeing the way that this game worked out is like okay, he definitely fucking can. Let's see if he actually does it. Tyler Huntley, Pro Bowler. Don't forget, Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley starting next week. So Lamar Jackson gets the week
he's
off.
starting next week, so he gets a week off. This
Right.
team gets a week to get right. I mean, hey, you know what? I guess we just have to shout out our old bear, Roquan Smith, playing middle linebacker, still
Dog.
Russian life.
Yep.
Absolute dog. He would look great in navy and orange right now. But hey, I think Tremaine Edmonds is not a slouch.
He's been showing his shit too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, really, really has. I think that this team really proved that the Dolphins aren't that good.
I don't know I think it's both. I think the Dolphins are pretty good. I think the Dolphins are probably as good as the majority of the AFC in the playoffs. I think the Ravens are that much better. I just, the regular season is a regular season for a reason. It's not the playoffs. Third week in a row, I'm just going to shout out Kyle Hamilton really quick. Just want to let everybody know that he's the fucking man. But he's so good, dude. But even so, it's that, this team just seems like there's no reason why it shouldn't win a Super Bowl this year. They seem like they're clearly the best team in the NFL. And I want them to prove it once they get to the playoffs. So we'll see how it goes. But Dolphins, you're in the playoffs. Who knows for how long? They might even lose the first seed.
We will see. We have a whole lot of playoffs to talk about. All right. Saints Bucks. What happened, Baker? I guess that's all I got.
He's Baker Mayfield. This will happen from time to time.
He looks great, and then he looks like such poo.
Yeah.
And I don't
it's like
get
Derek Carr.
Yeah, once again, and he fucking shows up.
What the fuck is it? I don't know. The NFC South is a joke.
What is
the
this
New Orleans
fucking
Saints?
world?
The New
What
Orleans
did
Saints
they
are a
do
joke.
to us?
Did you have a bet down for Juwan Howard leading the game in receptions?
No, I actually started him in my toilet bowl for fantasy though. Look at us.
There you go. Yeah, so I don't know. NFC South's the NFC South. They're going to lose in the first round probably, unless one team just has a historic crazy run, but it's just sad all over the place over there.
Totally.
Okay.
I don't disagree for a second.
Patriots Bills. The Bills.
Closer than we thought.
Yeah, but Zappy sucks. Dude, the Patriots suck.
Yeah,
so bad.
The Patriots, man. They just need to. Do they draft Drake May?
Yeah.
Or do they draft Jaden Daniels? Like, who do they draft?
They draft Drake May.
Okay.
I would almost.
Because it fits, right? It just kind of fits.
He seems like a New England guy.
Totally.
I don't think they're going to trade up or anything like that. I think they're going to let the pieces fall as they may. So, if whoever trades up to number, I don't think they're going to. I thought of it. I don't think they're going to.
Wait, no. Think about this for a second. What was Tom Brady's college number?
I don't know.
Michigan. Come on, think about it. What was Tom Brady's college number?
I don't know, bro. It was
5. 10. It was 10. It was
okay,
10.
Cool. Got it.
What was Mac Jones's
10
college number? What's Drake May's number?
10. Yeah.
It's happening. It's fucking happening. There it is.
I thought you're talking about them trading up. I'm like, I don't see them doing that.
No, I don't think. I mean, they're probably going to have the second pick in the draft. I think they take. I think Caleb.
Third.
Somebody.
Washington's bad, bro.
All right.
Washington's probably going to have 2. If someone trades up and takes Caleb Williams, someone takes Drake May, then honestly, New England probably picks the third best quarterback. Third best quarterback probably going to be Jaden Daniels. I don't think they're going to reach for. I don't think they're going to reach for a Bo Nix, but I do think that they might pick a Michael Penix if they're going to want a lefty quarterback. So we'll see. But they suck. But I think the real conversation is the Buffalo Bills, who are 10-6 now. The Buffalo Bills have an opportunity to somehow win the division. We were talking about them like they suck, and now they have an actual chance to make it to, what would that be, the 3rd seed? 2nd seed. They can either be in the 2nd seed or they might not make the fucking playoffs, which we're going to get to. But they hold it. They hold it. They can do it. Just fucking do it, guys. I would love to see the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs.
Yeah, the Bills in the playoffs needs to happen. I think they do have a shot. I would my prediction would be like the most amazing AFC Championship game in a long time would be the Bills and the Ravens. I think that would be just awesome.
Yeah. The Bills
Battle
are
for the Northeast.
They're heating like no other team is in the AFC right now. I don't believe in the Chiefs right now at all. I don't believe in the Dolphins, but I do think that the Bills can do something that's a little more substantial.
Hey, the season restarts when we get to the playoffs. And speaking of a team that went to the Super Bowl last year, how about those Eagles?
Wow.
Whoa.
What
I thought this game was over. And then when I saw the stat line, I was like, wait, what?
Their defense is so bad. What the fuck happened?
And they signed Shaq Leonard. Like, what the?
I know, but you can tell that he's like a no. He's not doing anything to help him. I think this has more to do with the staff than it does with the players. They lose both sides of their coaching staff last year, and they bring in new guys. Matt Patricia's been running the defensive play calls, and that's been duty. Hey, man, but
look good. He's seeming like he's
working.
Cringy AF, but he seems like it's working.
And I've been on the Shane Steichen train all year in Indy because they've also had like a fun little run that they've been going on. So you can it kind of feels like there's a lot of those coordinators for the Eagles were more so like the grit and grind. This is what we got to do. Sirianni loses that. Maybe the growing flower starts losing a little bit of love in the locker room after this shit.
Maybe they're not growing plants the way they thought they were growing plants. Maybe it's just not coming together. You know, I don't know, man. I feel like maybe this team over the past couple of years just they're a playoff team, but they're not very good. And I mean, a team for the record.
That's
that
crazy.
The Bears,
they went to the fucking Super Bowl last year.
The Bears just beat them pretty decisively, and the Cardinals went into Philly and won last minute. No, the Cardinals.
Oh, I was like
they lost to the Bears last week on Christmas, and then now go to Philly against an 11-5 team, which just leads me back to the Bears. The Bears could be a fucking playoff team right now.
I feel like he walked up to that team and he's like, "This team's going down today, boys." So there's a piece of me that's like, "This is my old team, and let's show him who the fuck is boss." Kyler Murray had a good game. I think that he extended his life in that team, but we'll see how the Eagles do it. They possibly just lost the division this week, so we'll see if they can come back and get more and more win and, take that division back. But the Lions and the Cowboys working out like that is not doing Philadelphia any favors. So
I don't disagree.
We will see how that goes. Moving on. Panthers, Jags. Panthers suck. Raiders, Colts.
I could skip it.
Yeah, they're keeping their playoff hopes alive, but
Max Crosby kept calling everybody little bitch boys, though. I don't know.
Get them to the Bears.
He kept calling everybody. He sacked Minshew a couple times. He just called him bitch ass boy.
Yeah,
get up and walk away. I'm like, okay, yep.
Get him on the Bears, dude. I swear to God. Trade that pick. Give me Max Crosby, and then give me whatever their pick is. Give me him.
But then you don't get Marvin Harrison. See, there is a scenario.
One overall.
Where Washington. No, well, you could arguably say Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best talent on this team, or on in this draft as a player.
I think he is the best player. I just don't think that's where his draft value is.
Well, fine. What if Washington wants to trade up to 1?
Fine.
And then the Pats are at 2, and then boom, Marvin Harrison sitting there for you.
Well, dude, you play it with leverage.
It's 3 the line.
Well, Washington's going to have the second pick, so you got to just convince somebody.
Not necessarily.
It seems like it. I feel like that's almost depending on how this week goes. But I think Washington probably end up keeping it, which means if the Raiders want to trade up, then they got to give top dollar. Because then otherwise you can be like, well, Washington, what do you want? Or what are you going to give us? Or like, the thing is I don't know how many players Washington or New England have that I really even want on the team. Orlando Brown?
Yeah.
Is he on the Pats?
No, I don't know. I'm not saying I want a player. I just want draft capital.
I'll take Max Crosby, though. Regardless.
I'm still not that. He's still damn near 30 and aging out. So.
I know, but still.
But you know that there is still a scenario where the Bears could sign Khalil Mack?
He did lead the league in sacks for a little bit there. Rams, Giants. Stafford's going to the playoffs, baby. Tyrod Taylor, best backup of all time. All right, 49ers, Commanders.
Skip it.
49ers are really fucking good. Steelers, Seahawks. Is Mason Rudolph good?
He's okay. I didn't think for a shot they had a chance of winning this game, but Najee Harris run the football. George Pickens is clearly a guy
Mhm.
with the right guy throwing him the football, and here we are.
Something that may surprise you. Mike Tomlin winning record.
Go figure.
It's only happened every fucking year. No matter what happens, they were just
Yeah,
horseshit
that's
all
why
year,
those-
and they're 9-7.
Talks a couple weeks ago, they're like, "Oh, he could get fired." I'm like, "Not a fucking chance.
No.
No shot. No shot."
And Najee Harris seems like he's a reincarnate of himself. So congratulations on that, Najee
looks
Harris.
Good. Yeah.
Good for them. Bengals Chiefs. Browning's over. Bengals are over.
Browning's over. The Chiefs aren't that good.
But
Isaiah
they win
Pacheco
the West
runs
for
like
the
a dude
8th
trying
time in
to
the
do
row.
shoes that pay less.
They win the West for
Whatever.
the 8th time in the row. No matter who comes in, no matter what good quarterbacks are in the West, they win again. Speaking of the West, fucking Chargers Broncos. What a
Closer
shit
game than I thought.
shit bowl. Easton Stick threw the ball a lot. He has a funny name. I'll continue to feel that way. Jared Stidham threw the ball a little bit less, and it worked out. If you look at the stat line and you see Jared Stidham, Jaleel McLaughlin, Lil Jordan Humphrey, you're just like, who the fuck is playing for the Denver Broncos right now?
And now, and hey, now the only
Dude,
thing
Lil
I'll say.
Jordan Humphrey, what the fuck, man?
What about little Jordan Humphrey?
I'm just saying, where do these guys come from? Like, I don't hear about any
Hey,
of them for.
Imagine if you would have had this guy on a prop bet to score a touchdown. You would have
Yeah.
won like your rent.
For real.
You know,
Or even just
For
Jaleel
real.
McLaughlin over 40 yards would have been insane, too. It's an absolute brutal showing from two teams that should be good, but the Broncos end up winning it. Neither have playoff aspirations. We move on. Packers Vikings. You liked you liked the whole idea of Jaron Hall. I don't know
Yeah,
about
not
all
good.
that.
Not good. Yeah, I'm just not very happy the fact that Jordan Love looked good and he looked
He
really
did
good.
again.
And I'm not going to say I'm not going to be worried about next weekend, but we'll see.
Put up or shut up, boys. It's that time.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk about the playoff picture for a moment. So right now,
Playoffs?
we're talking playoffs. And right now, we're
Playoffs.
looking at the clinched playoff spots. We got the Ravens, Dolphins, Chiefs, and Browns on the AFC side.
Yep.
Yeah, the Niners, Cowboys, Lions, Eagles, Rams. Cowboys in the NFC East currently on top, which leaves the Eagles at the 5 seed. In the hunt right now, most notably, you have the Bills, who are 10-6. The Dolphins are 11-5. The Bills actually have a chance to win the division if they end up winning out this week, which would be rich, honestly, for how the Dolphins have been playing all year. So I hope that the Bills do end up winning it just so they get the division because I think it'd be funny. But I think the biggest thing on the AFC side is Jaguars, Colts, and Texans right now. You got 3 teams, all 9-7. It seems like the Jaguars have the biggest chance to win it just given tiebreakers, but 2 of those teams lose and one of them wins. They're in and they get a better seed than 2 of the wildcard teams that make you slide in there.
I can't believe that this many teams in the AFC South are the deciding factor. 3 teams, 9-7, and to your point, who owns the tiebreakers? Now, CJ Stroud coming back on fresh legs. I don't think there's a fart's chance in hell that he doesn't walk into NRG and or walk into the Indy Dome and just say, "Yeah, I'm here."
Yeah,
and
I
really
seem to agree
show.
with you.
Yeah, I don't think there's a shot in hell that doesn't happen. If the Jags can beat the Titans, though, it doesn't matter.
Right. So the Jags kind of hold their own. They have a 73% chance of getting in, 99% chance if they win because they hold all of the tiebreakers. So I would say, looking at this critically, there's 3 more spots in the AFC. I would be inclined to go Bills, Jags, Texans.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I mean, the Jags have, granted, they beat the brakes off of a very shitty team last weekend.
Yeah.
Fine, okay, but then again, Trevor Lawrence, who knows? Vrabel, he always has a way. He finds a way.
Yep. And if the Bills do end up losing, they'll tie with any team that wins in the NFC South or AFC South. So Really, you're looking at those three teams. Steelers have a chance to make it in as well if they do end up winning, but I don't see that happening. Now, moving on
A lot
to
of
the
things have to.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of things have to happen for the Steelers. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of also those teams won't be resting any starters like the Tyler Huntley-led Ravens. On the NFC side, it's a little more cut and dry. There's 2 available playoff spots, one of which being the NFC South, the other which being the wild card. So right now you have confirmed 49ers, Cowboys, Lions, Eagles, Rams, 2 more teams. Packers are the most likely to move into that wild card spot unless our Chicago Bears play whoopsie daisies, gotcha. And I really hope they play gotcha this week. I'm really, really, really hoping that that's the case. Outside of that, the Buccaneers have the highest chance of winning the NFC South, which I hope they do, because I really don't want to see the Saints fucking play.
How are the Falcons still in the hunt, man? That's insane to me.
Because that's the worst division ever. Because they're so fucking bad.
I know, but the Bears are sitting there at 7-9 in tiebreakers and all that good stuff. And
yeah,
it's looking like right now, I just look at the NFC North and I just pray the Bears can duplicate what the Lions did last year and kind of give that same message of like, we're coming.
I'm with you. So the Buccaneers are playing Carolina, which means the Buccaneers are probably going to playoffs.
Bucs are going to playoffs, baby.
Yeah, and then you have Seattle, who plays Arizona, which should be a win for them. And then Atlanta, the thing is, though, is like the Bucs need to win because Atlanta and New Orleans are playing each other. So if New Orleans beats Atlanta, they slide in. So they better beat Carolina for real because they could play spoiler, too, over there in Carolina.
They could. I mean, hey, it just depends. I don't think anybody in Carolina is super motivated. I don't think anybody is going to be playing into 100% in that one.
And then,
but granted, though, any given Sunday, because the Packers a couple weeks ago won in a 3-point matchup against the Panthers.
True. So. They don't always get blown out and shut out like they did this week. And then the Vikings have a chance as well. But if I was going to put my money on it, I'd probably put Bucks. And then I really want the Seahawks to make it because that means the Bears did win that game.
Does Kirk come back for the Vikings next year?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Almost for sure. Given how this season went and just knowing that the difference between them going 8-8 and maybe winning a division is Kirk Cousins. Think about how fucked up that quarterback room has been. You could bring in Kirk Cousins again. I would say it's almost a definite.
What if they draft Michael Penix?
Do they want to do that with their team right now?
You give them another year.
Very young.
You give them a year to sit. I don't know. Just
maybe. I wouldn't be against that, but I'm just saying, like, that defense already took some issues last year with getting rid of guys.
Very similar archetype to a Kirk Cousins is Bo Nix. What if they draft Bo Nix?
They could.
That would be interesting. If they drafted Bo Nix, sit behind the other Christian dude, let him teach you the godly way of playing quarterback for the Vikings and being very average.
I think if they can sit on a quarterback and then have Kirk come back again, I think they would. And also I think Kirk just kind of fits Minnesota pretty well.
He does, and I think Bo Nix would fit Minnesota as well. Playing a dome, you get to learn behind Kirk. Kirk shows you the way. They kind of look alike.
They do.
Right? They kind of they could be long-lost brothers. All right, let's get into our picks.
And starting with the Steelers at the Ravens Huntley Bowl. Here we go.
I think the Steelers have more to play for, so I think they win.
I think the Ravens still end up winning because the Ravens are good. Texans at Colts.
Give me the Texans.
I'm going to take them as well. Minshew Mania has run its course. Jaguars Titans.
This happened 20-plus years ago, and didn't end well for the Jags. So I think the Titans are going to win. I think give me Levis. Give me the Levis Bowl.
I'll take the Jags just because they have more to play for, honestly. Vikings Lions.
Give me the Lions.
Yeah, they got embarrassed last week. They're not getting embarrassed again. Falcons Saints.
Give me the Saints.
Yep. Agreed. Jets Patriots. What a gross game.
Take the under. Give me the Pats.
I'm taking the Jets because the Pats want that pick. Bucks Panthers.
Bucks.
Yeah, easy. Panthers are so bad. Browns Bengals.
Battle for Ohio. No way Tyler Huntley
Flacco?
doesn't. No way Flacco starts this game, right? He's
No, he
old.
doesn't.
You already
He's
clinched
not.
it. No way. No, you got to see him. So, and that if that's the case, give me the Bengals because I think Browning. This is such a hard week.
I'm
This
gonna
is such
take.
a hard week.
I'm with you. I'm gonna take the Bengals too. I feel like they want to just be like, hey, let's get a good record. Let's just finish off the season and feel pretty good about it. Yeah.
Roll them. Just roll
It's
the dice right
time. Bears Packers.
I don't even want to make a prediction.
I know, because it actually has something to do with us now too.
I don't even want to do it. Fuck it, I've done it. Give me the Bears.
Yeah. We all know what I'm going to do. I do it every week. If the Bears lose, at least I win this. I'm taking the Packers. Because I want the Bears to win. Just remember, that's why.
All right.
Cowboys Commanders.
Give me the Cowboys because they want that pick too.
Fuck, they want that 1 seed, baby. Broncos Raiders.
The Raiders?
Yeah, their offense just looks better right now. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
Eagles Giants.
Eagles, they got to win this game.
They need to. And if they don't, then it's fucking game over. So I'm taking them as well. Seahawks Cards.
Give me the Seahawks because I think they have more to play for than the Cardinals. And
Yep. Agreed. Rams 49ers. They're both thrusting everybody.
They're both like good.
Yeah.
Give me the Rams.
Okay. I'm going to take the 49ers because I don't know what to feel about it. So we'll just do it as a pick 'em there.
Yeah.
Chiefs
All right.
Chargers.
Chiefs.
Yeah. Chargers suck. Bills Dolphins, baby.
I'm taking the Bills, man. I'm rolling with them.
Yeah. I
rolling
am
with them.
too, dude. I like them a lot. Let's go. Circle the wagons, Buffalo.
Wagon Buffalo. We're wagoning around the Buffaloes. I like this. So wild card round, I mean, we're gonna have an interesting follow-up to that week. I'm pretty jacked for it, I'm not gonna lie.
I agree.
And we got the divisional rounds, and then we got it's the fun time for footballs right now, people. If you're not rolling with us, I don't know who you're rolling with. I don't know if you want to listen to cowards, dumbass.
Boo.
I think our picks are far more fun. I think we talk about far more things like Jason Whitlock and
Dan Orlovsky smelling feet.
Dan Orlovsky smelling feet and eating Pop-Tarts at the Pop-Tart Bowl and college football takes that are egregious. I think it's too much fun. So if you've been with us to this stage of the game, thank you. We do hope you enjoy the intro song. It is brand new, and we're rolling with it, people. We've got some new things in the works for 2024. Roll with us. I think this is going to be a year of epic growth. I don't think I know. How about that?
Yeah.
And if you've been with us from the jump, please give us some love. And as always, it's the after point of the holiday season. I'm switching targets this year because I don't have another choice. You got a brother.
Yeah.
You got a sister.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you got friends that are like your brothers or your sisters. Maybe they want to listen to a fun sports podcast known as the Taxi Squad. So share it with a friend, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.